Did you say you had to leave? Would you stick to what's agreed? No. We never had the chance or circumstance of getting closer. Now I'm supposed to grieve, but I don't feel no different than before. Much too little to care for. Yet I do believe that I achieved your recognition, but you missed the score. And I
Please welcome Swedish progressive rock singer, songwriter, and musician, Mr. Nad Sylvan, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Nad.
Hello, mister.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was, what is it today? Is it Wednesday today?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a week ago, on the 4th.
We're both the same age. I was born in January of 59.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And you
And
still-
coincidentally,
Yeah.
our fathers died at the same age.
Wow. But
96, right?
yeah, he was 96. He passed away last year in July.
I'm sorry to hear that. My dad passed about 2 years ago. Yeah.
It's okay. We didn't hang. You know, he was a
Right.
aloof character in my life. I didn't really get to know him that well. So
Huh.
I hadn't seen him since 2016.
Really? Wow.
No.
You know,
But-
interesting story. I just interviewed Jack Chick from
Yeah.
King Crimson yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and his whole album's the same thing about a relationship with his pop, you know, because he was adopted, and he just found out about his dad not long ago.
Mm.
So,
I think we've come to that age. I think Jaco might be the same age as me, or maybe a year older. or something.
he is. He's a year older. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, things start to happen after 60, you know.
it does.
People tend to, you know, friends die, parents die. And I'm just lucky to still be alive and healthy, reasonably healthy. I've
Mhm.
got little physical problems with, you know, minor problems like joints hurting, and my lower back is very stiff when I've sat down for,
Right.
you know, stuff like that. It's just a natural progress of aging.
Sure.
So I take walks every day to keep myself reasonably fit.
That's the key. My
Yeah.
son's been after me to go for walks because I'm a writer. I just finished another book, and I don't go anywhere. I sit down and write. That's all I do.
Oh yeah. Are you in California? Where are you?
I'm in Florida.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice sunny weather. People take cars to everything. We're more pedestrian people here.
Hmm.
I take long walks in the forest. You know, I think you know that I live in the forest. I live way out in the wilderness. Sweden, we say I live out in the spinach.
In the spinach.
Yes.
That's funny. I needed to go for walks though. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, you look great. You're my age and you look wonderful. I've seen a lot of guys my age that look terrible.
The secret is I guess happiness.
Mhm.
Get a lot of sleep. I live in, you know, it's so peaceful and quiet out here.
Right.
No disturbance, no stress. If I get stressed, it's because of myself, because I have a time, you
Right.
know, I have a deadline of sorts. But other than that, it's also genetic, you know. My
Yeah.
as you know, Dad got to be 90. You don't look that bad yourself. Okay, I can't see
Oh,
your
thank
eye.
you.
For some reason, you're wearing sunglasses.
Well,
My
they're
bad.
They're actually prescription, and they help me with the glare. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But I did have an accident the other day. I fell out of bed and I hit my head and I had to get 7 stitches. It was a
Oh,
mess.
I'm sorry.
I think I had a nightmare or something.
Well, that hasn't happened to me yet. I guess my cat puts me in place in bed. She always sleeps with me.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
My son has 2 cats. I never see them. They're always hiding.
Oh, okay. Well, she will be the same way if I have guests here. I just had guests from Detroit the other week,
Hmm.
and she hardly wasn't around. She wasn't around. It was like she does not like strangers,
Really?
but she likes her daddy.
You're talking about the stress level. You're lucky because you have a great bandmate in Steve Hackett. Steve's been on the show many times. He's such a laid back, nice guy, and his wife Jo is so nice.
They're wonderful people.
They are wonderful people.
They're close friends of mine these
Hmm.
days.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I love the interview, Steve.
Yeah, he's very, very humble.
He is. Well, I just want to say the new album proves that your voice can master any genre, but no one gets closer to the sound of early Genesis like you do, and closer to Peter Gabriel. You're incredible.
Well, thank you. But I must stress that I don't intend to. I don't try to sound
Right.
like him. What it, excuse me. What it comes down to is that my range is quite similar, and I sometimes explain why I sound the way I do when I sing Genesis. It's like my voice belongs to like a family of voices, where
Hmm.
you can bring in Phil and Peter, you can bring in Steve Winwood, Gary Brooker. You know what I mean? That's
Sure.
more baritone kind of singers. And but also, of course, I got into Genesis. Well, actually, this summer is 50 years ago. I got into the Lamb
Hmm.
at 16. And it sort of got into my DNA. I started to write music in very much in the same vein when I was, in my later teens. Um, so when I sing Genesis, I sort of channel what I've always known. You understand me?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
do.
You grew up
But
with Genesis.
because yeah, I did. And if you listen to my solo records,
Hmm.
there might be the odd inflection and intonation that is a bit similar to any of the Genesis singers, but that's not intentional. It's just that they had such an impact on me
Yeah.
from a very, very early age. But I try to steer away from the Genesis influence as much as
Hmm.
I can because I'm a little bit tired of the comparisons that you can imagine after all these
Oh yeah.
years.
Sure.
I would like
I
to stand on my legs.
well, you did on this album. You were very,
Well,
very different.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different album. From if you compare it to my previous work,
Uh-huh.
I'm not stuck in the cliche prog. Well, not that I ever
Right.
was. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want more a progressive artist than I'm a prog rocker guy in the sense that I maintain that old classic progressive rock style from the 70s.
Right.
I've been a songwriter for over 50 years and I have so many influences from all these years on this planet. So,
Hmm.
it's a lot of funk and soul and R&B as well.
I heard that.
I like to integrate with the prog rock. And I
Hmm.
think maybe that I succeed with it. I don't know.
Yes, you have. Prog rock's it's a family, you know? It
Yeah,
really is.
I just want to have my own style. Uh,
Yeah.
be copy something that's been repeated for years. Excuse me. It's much nicer to come up with new ideas,
Hmm.
combine new elements into the genre.
Well, I think you've accomplished that already with your previous albums as well.
Fine,
You know?
thank you.
Yeah. You know who I interviewed recently? Chester Thompson.
Oh, did you? I
I
met him briefly.
did.
I met
Yeah.
him briefly at the Ryman's in Nashville. He was there and saw the show.
Good guy. He's still feuding with Phil Collins, by the way.
As if I didn't even know he was.
Yeah, it's been a long feud for a long time. I don't know
Okay.
what happened. He won't tell me.
No, no, probably about money.
Yeah, probably. The album Monumentata, and I know I understand the whole meaning behind there. I guess Tata's your dad, right? That's the word for your
Tata,
dad,
well, okay, just let me explain for the people
right?
who don't know what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so I lost my parents. I lost my dad last year.
Hmm.
My mother 16 years ago. And so when I became orphaned, so to speak, I realized that, they're both gone and I'm probably the one next to go one day.
Right.
That feeling became like a monumental, it was like a departure from something I've known all my life,
I know.
even though I didn't know my dad that well. But
Yeah.
still, the knowledge of knowing that maybe we could, patch things up, along the line or whatever. But it didn't happen. And so he went, and that
Hmm.
was like a monumental feeling. Now, Tata is a very childish way of saying daddy in
Hmm.
some parts of Hungary.
Hmm.
And my dad was half Hungarian.
Right.
So, my grandmother was from Budapest.
Y-
So I just linked those two words together and
I
made
like
music.
it. Yeah.
And it also sounds kind of nice singing it.
Yeah. Your dad
it
was an interesting fellow, man. He was a tennis player.
well, back in the day, it was in the jet. He was a jet setter in the play tennis.
He was incredible. I've read all about him, you
He
know.
just you Google Hugh Wright Stewart and you'll read, he was what he was doing, playing Monte
Hmm.
Carlo. He was on the Davis Cup team. He played Wimbledon. He, toured the world playing tennis and with my mom at his side with me in her belly.
Hmm.
That's how it started. So that's where Monte Carlo references come from. Oh, by the way, I heard you said the song is called Monte Carlo Princess. It's Monte Carlo Priceless.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Oh,
fine. Just like set the
sorry about
record straight.
that. Okay,
But
sure.
I think princess in the lyrics, so I know it could be confusing. Anyway, so that's the connection to Monte Carlo is that, I've been there with my dad. He
Yeah,
showed he showed me the plaque where his name is on, uh, and stuff. So he was doing very well when he was in his 20s.
hmm.
So
Do you have
it's
any interest in tennis as well, or
I like watching it. I'm a
right,
terrible player. It was either tennis or horses back in the day.
right?
And I'm an animal lover.
Me
So,
too.
I've had a horse, I've had 3 dogs, and now I have a cat. I'm absolutely a huge animal lover,
Hmm.
and I support all these kinds of, uh, what do you call them? They save dogs, they save cats, they save everything,
Right.
and I'm a regular provider with money
Hmm.
to help them out, my dear friends, the
Somebody's
animals.
got to help them out, right?
Well,
They can't
yeah,
talk.
that's very true.
My daughter, my granddaughter is riding horses, and she just turned 7 years old, and she's
Hmm.
getting really good at it.
I started riding when I was 11, and I quit 5 years ago. Uh,
Oh,
due to personal problems. There was nothing, I
right.
just didn't have time for it anymore because I was constantly touring
Yeah.
and and I was taking care of a horse and I wasn't around because I was out. So I
That's a
just,
big job. It's a big job to take care of a horse.
oh yeah, it was a lot of work. But I enjoy, I'm still in touch, but
Right.
no, I don't ride anymore.
Hmm. I
Maybe
just
one day.
want to go ahead.
Okay, so
I was just going to mention that your dad's name is Hugh Wright Stewart. If anybody wants to look him up, he was at Wimbledon, um, U.S. National Championships.
he was,
Yeah, he
yeah,
did. Let's see, the quarterfinals in 53 and 54 for doubles.
yeah.
Yeah, he was excellent.
He played up until very old age. I think he quit playing tennis around it was maybe 90 or something.
Wow, jeez,
Yeah, I know. He went for a long time.
good exercise.
Yeah. And I think maybe partially, you know, why he reached that old age, he was an athlete. And
Hmm.
I'm a strong believer in, you should be as physical as possible
Hmm.
throughout life to, muscle mass and all that kind of stuff. So as you get older, you'll notice a difference if you don't do anything. When you're young, you have everything for free, basically. But
Yeah,
now you don't.
I'm already noticing.
Most of us are.
Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
the album cover, you know what it reminds me of? Chris
What?
Squire, Fish Out of Water, in a way.
Yeah. That. Yeah. You know what? That and Phil Collins' face value.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Combination of those two, but
Yeah.
not intentionally. It was actually Hayo Miller who designed the artwork for me.
Hmm.
I just said, well, my dad was a tennis player. Don't you have his tennis racket or somewhere, a tennis racket somewhere? Yeah,
Right.
I do. I have like three of his tennis rackets
Hmm.
from back in the day. So why don't you just put your face behind the racket? That sounds like a good idea. At that time, I wasn't even thinking about Chris Squire. It just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So, it's sort of trying to depict being sort of behind bars almost, like, like
Right. Right.
being captive in a situation that I'm latterly freed myself from.
Yeah.
There, there's some, you'll understand as you read the liner
Mhm.
notes and stuff.
Well, I'm gonna go over some tracks because I love
Okay.
the album. I love the album. I'll give it 5 stars.
Hmm.
You open up with Secret Lover,
Yes.
which is kind of a rocker, which I like.
It's very much rocker. I always thought when I heard it, oh, the Americans gotta like this. They always
Yeah,
like to rock out.
sure. No, we love Prague, but we like the when it's eclectic. We love eclectic albums, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
And this one's got a little bit of everything, I think. Um, you're mentioning R&B. That's
Yeah.
not me. It's got a bit of I don't know. If you want to create a new genre, how about prog funk?
Oh, it's very funky, but it's also very like metal almost. Like
Yeah.
the choruses are very heavy. Uh, but yeah, definitely. That's why I wanted Tony Levin to play bass on it because I just knew
Oh yeah, he's great.
he just threw the best bass ever, and it was just like almost tailor made for him, and that's why I delegated the bass to him because I just heard that this got to be Tony who's playing this. Mind you, he's been recording for me before,
Hmm.
so it wasn't hard to get him on board.
Did he play the Chapman on that or just a regular bass?
No, he played his Music Man bass, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Tony's awesome.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. I also heard a little bit of Gentle Giant in that song because Gentle Giant kind of got a little funky too.
Well, I know what you mean. It's the first notes, first
Yeah.
4 or 5 notes in that melody.
Hmm.
And believe it or not, I wasn't even I had no idea. I never heard that song. So it's just coincidental.
Yeah. Well, that
I don't
happens with every artist. You're going to pick up things, as you go, and so many songs do sound like other songs. It just happens. There's too many songs
there
out there.
are very many songs, and every day there will be thousands of new songs on Spotify or any streaming platform.
Yep.
I know, people are being productive.
They are being productive. The Beatles started out playing cover songs, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's true.
I mean, you can hear a lot of Beatles music that sound like Little Richard, you know.
Oh, the early stuff. My
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah. No, yeah, they went through talk about being progressive. I mean, they changed so much over the course of just 5, 6 years.
they did.
I mean, compare 1962 to 1967.
Hmm.
Strawberry Fields and stuff like that. Compare that to I Want to Hold Your Hand. It's
Yeah,
like a completely different new band.
yeah, that's true.
So I'm not comparing myself to the Beatles, but if people can relate to that, there is some sort of evolvement when you evolve as an artist.
Hmm.
So why would you want to do the same thing you did 5, 10 years ago? You want to explore.
Yeah.
That's why, that's just me. That's what I do.
Well, I don't blame you. John Lennon was the same way. He always
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
stop talking about the Beatles, let's move on, that kind of thing.
yeah.
And
But once you get famous for something, it's very easy to get a little stuck in there. You know what I mean?
right.
I mean, look at Steve Hackett we're doing Genesis, and we're doing that for 12 years now.
Hmm.
But it puts bumps on the seats, and he loves the music. I mean, he's
Yeah.
so proud of you. I mean, it's not that it made it so big; he just loves the songs,
Well,
and
somebody's got to do it because Peter Gabriel's not doing it.
nobody, nobody in that band employs the music of Genesis.
It's crazy.
Maybe Rutherford at some points might be doing the odd Genesis track, but I think that's from later years,
Right.
the trio years.
I love Genesis. I started following them back in the Anthony Phillips days, when
Oh,
very, very
that,
beginning.
that early. Well,
Yeah,
I got into them in 1975,
yeah.
and then
Actually, Phillips could have done a lot more. His solo album was incredible,
they're
but
very good.
yeah, I don't know why he stopped. Trying to get an interview with him, and he's kind of off the,
He's a very, very funny guy.
is he really?
He's super funny. I met
Huh,
him. I met him at a party
right.
for a charity record that we both contributed to. And he was so funny. I mean, it's like I had no idea it was this funny. He was like a clown almost, you know. Really very sweet, very funny guy.
Yeah.
So I remember that fondly from that evening in England when I met him. Yeah. So are you going through my songs now?
I am. I just want to say I was thinking about being funny. Two guys
Yeah.
I thought was funny that I was surprised was, um, oh my gosh, what is the matter with me? I'm losing it now. It'll come
I
back to
know what's
me.
the matter with you. You're getting old, just like me.
It's exactly right. Exactly. Oh, Jack Bruce. He
Yeah.
was very funny. I was surprised. And Rick Wakeman.
Oh, super funny. And also right now I got the 60s plus moment as well. The guitarist from Jethro Tull, help me out here.
Martin Barr.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah, I've had him on a couple of times.
I met him
Yeah.
on the cruise and it's like, wow, humorous guy.
Yeah.
But I tell Rick Wakeman probably tops the most. I mean, he is,
He's crazy.
yeah, well, wonderful. You heard the speech he did at the
I did. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah.
oh, that was very naughty.
Yes, I know. Well, Monte Carlo Priceless.
Very
Okay.
good. Yeah.
You say it hits home, which pays tribute to your mom, who passed away 16 years ago.
No, it
And then you,
doesn't. No, it doesn't pay tribute to my mother. It's
no.
it's just
Okay.
it's just a photo for the song because I wanted to, have a woman in there. But it's
Okay.
about an abused woman in
Right.
Nova Scotia, Canada, who has absolutely enough of her abusive husband and just has a facelift and moves to Monte Carlo to become a prostitute.
Whoa.
Uh, yeah, to
I was
make,
way
make
off on that one.
yeah, to make big money. So no, it's not a tribute to my mom. I
Huh.
would Monumentata, the title track, is a tribute to my parents.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
where did you get the idea of that then, of that track?
basically from the gibberish I was singing, uh, always when started writing a song, I just go round, round, round. I just make up funny noises with
Really?
my mouth. Yeah, and then I listen back to the gibberish I've sang, and
Hmm.
because the vowels that I use come very naturally, very. So I tend to write words that sound similar.
Hmm.
For some reason, Monte Carlo, there is like a, what do you say, like a B chorus in the song
Right.
when I go Monte Carlo Priceless, Monaco, that bit. I just the music just sounded so 60s to me, almost like
Hmm.
Burt Bacharach, and I
Yep.
could see a couple driving along the cliffs, in a convertible, and I could see umbrella drinks, and I could see all the atmosphere from the 1960s. I
Right.
just saw it in front of me when I heard that. So, oh, Monaco, Monte Carlo. Oh yeah, let's do that.
Hmm.
And then I just wrote that lyric around it. And Nova Scotia has it's very singable, Nova
Hmm.
Scotia. It sounds great to sing. So I just picked up these words. I don't really know from where, and then I've started working around it. And sometimes the lyric can take very long time for me, or
Hmm.
it can all happen in one day. And I think this was just like a 1 or 2 days when I got the lyrics down for the song. Anyway, I think that's one of the better songs.
It's a great song. Beautiful song.
Yeah, and it
It's,
ends with the mellotron, like
yeah.
it's this back to those days again. It's I love this. I love the sound of the ending of that song with the
Hmm.
strumming guitar, the mellotron chords swirling in and out.
You just never know where a song's going to come from. I interviewed Melanie Safka, and I was the one who found out how she came up with Brand New Key.
Hmm.
It's on Wikipedia. Actually, she was eating at McDonald's and she was thinking about, like you said, back in the day when she was roller skating. It all came together that way.
Yeah.
You never
Well,
know.
you just don't know what songs gonna, how they're gonna, where they turn up from, and
Hmm.
where they're gonna go. But I have one gift that I'm very happy for,
Right.
is I know when the song is finished.
That is a gift.
I know when to stop. I know,
Good.
and I know I'd rather leave things out than put too much in.
Right. You're right. Just like being in a recording studio. So many artists overproduce, you know,
Yeah, no,
you
I've
got to
done
know
that.
when to stop.
I've been through that
Yeah.
years ago. I was in a band in the 1980s, and
Hmm.
they taught me a lot.
Right.
The song could be good. I mean, if you just have a bass line, drums, and vocals, if that can carry the song. I mean, listen to Heartbreak Hotel with Elvis
Hmm.
Presley.
That's right.
Is there anything missing? I wouldn't think so.
Nope.
Just the right combination of sounds for the song. So I learned a lot in regards to arrangements and production already in my 20s.
Hmm.
But still, trying to get there, still hoping to tell a release or make that album is gonna take me to an even higher level.
Yeah.
But I hope I've done something new on this one.
You have. And I noticed it right away. And
Good.
people that are looking for a, 100% prog album, I mean, come on, enough. All artists want to get into, different things, and everybody feels that way. Every artist feels that way, I think.
Well, there is, although I must say that there is some real hardcore proggy moments on this album as well.
Hmm.
It's just a combination of different styles. But what sort of pulls the songs together, I think, is my way of writing
Yes.
and my sense of melody and chord structure and stuff like that. And there's a lot more acoustic guitar strumming on this one, just like it was in the previous album, Spiritus Mundi. I wanted
Yep.
to keep that. I love the acoustic guitar.
Hmm.
Only this time it's me playing all those guitars,
Hmm.
whereas it was Andrew Latris who played them on my previous album,
Right.
because we co-wrote the songs and he was the one who came with the bits, with guitar bits. So we just worked around that. But I was infatuated with the acoustic guitar strumming, and I thought, why not keep that? So
Hmm.
that's why it sounds more sort of, well, it's more acoustically driven, this album, I'd say.
I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s, and I could recognize a hit. If top 40 was like it used to be, Wildfire would be the top 40 hit, in my opinion.
Ah, well, it's kind of a
Yep.
long song, though. I think it stretches over 6 minutes, or just about
Oh,
six.
you can always shorten it. A lot of songs for radio were
Yeah.
shortened.
But Wildfire is a heavy rocker.
Yeah,
It also has a very funky bass,
I love it.
and that's Nick Beggs on bass,
Mm,
and actually me on all guitars on that track. And I'm not a very good guitarist by any stretch of imagination, but I know how to make do in the studio and
hmm. That's all
get
it takes. Yeah,
get my ideas across. And I don't give up until I have it.
sure. That's an
Uh,
awesome, awesome track. I love Wildfire. It's one of my
uh,
favorites, I think.
well, a lot of people have heard this is sort of one of their favorites.
Hmm.
My favorite. I love that song, but the one that really I adore, because it was such a gas recording it and writing, it's the track called Flowerland, the one that precedes it.
Right.
It's sort of like it's like about an old hippie couple, reminiscing over their formative years when they met and stuff,
Right.
being two pots heads. Probably they went to Woodstock or whatever, and they're in the 70s now, and or 60s maybe. But it's about looking back and still being together. And in the album artwork, I have my parents from their wedding
Hmm.
depicting the song, because they sit there with a huge bouquet of flowers. I understand where I'm coming from now. So I let them depict the songs, but maybe the songs not always about them.
Right.
Yeah.
You got
So
some saxophone on that, right? There's
there's
this good sax
no
on it. No?
there's no
Sounds like a sax.
there's no sax in this song. This
Huh.
Randy McStein doing a slide guitar solo. Maybe
Okay.
maybe it sounds a bit similar to a sax. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any sax on this album. I
You know, it's
didn't.
hard to identify instruments nowadays. You never
It,
know.
it can be.
Yeah. Violin can sound like guitar, which they do a lot of times.
Yeah. The only thing that sounds like a wind instrument is actually the song that comes after Wildfire.
Make
It's called
somebody proud.
That's
Yep.
right. There's actually mellotron brass.
That sounds prog.
That
That track sounds prog.
definitely the middle
Yeah.
section, the instrumental section is super proggy. But that's a mellotron brass sound I use that goes
Hmm.
almost a bit like Earth, Wind and Fire, like that
Right.
and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I wanted to incorporate my soul, It's a bit gospel-y too. With
You had background singers on that track, right?
yeah, I used Jade and Shiona, who sang with me on the Bright Said No album.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I wanted to have them, but I wanted bigger sound than just my own voice. I wanted to combine the female voices there. So they came over in December, it was a snowy day, and
Hmm.
we spent the whole day recording, and then we had dinner in the evening, and then I drove them back to the train station.
Hmm.
Yes.
See, you are evolving, Nad. Listen to that. Listen to all the different ideas you have on all these tracks, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, I know. Mm.
I
And
think
then
it's great.
it follows, but with I'm stepping out.
Yep, that's an interesting track.
That's the Vampire Revisited track. He comes back. He comes back just for a cameo to show
Mhm.
himself once more. But you should know we're working on a video for that track that's going to
Oh,
come.
good.
It's going to come out the same day the album comes out, and I portray 5 different characters in this video.
Are you using AI?
No, no,
No,
no.
no.
I film myself with the green screen. If you think back on my previous albums, so the first one was Courting the Widow.
Hmm.
So I portray a widow. Yeah, with a morning hat, and
Yeah,
black sticks. I look
yeah.
like an absolute tart. Absolutely wonderful. And then the vampire is back.
Yep.
The Mad Hatter is back from the Selling England tour.
Oh, cool.
I am also the quartermaster. I am the sailor, with a beard. I almost look like Phil Collins back in the day with a fake beard and just a beanie. I
Yeah,
can't. It doesn't look like me. It's amazing how I would look with a beard. It's a completely change of character.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I portray myself, like the natural me too.
Mhm.
So that's going to come out on June the 20th.
Oh, wow. I can't wait.
So
That's awesome.
I'm stepping out. It's a very fun track. Almost like the music sounds almost like a little bit like the Pink Panther
Right,
or
right.
the Addams Family. It has that sort of,
What a combination.
yeah, that spookiness to it.
Can't wait to see that. That's going to be great. It's
Oh, that's
funny because Peter Gabriel, do you remember he came out with the red dress and the fox head for the
yeah,
album? Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that.
Well, it's fun to explore and do drag or do whatever
Yeah,
for a video. Do you remember the Queen when they did I Want to Break Free? They were all in drag.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
And
so
Kurt Cobain wore a dress a lot.
well, hey, Mick Jagger and the Stones back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, but I like to have fun,
Yeah.
and I had great fun making that video.
How long did it take you to make it?
About a week.
Really? It's not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. I think videos are very important for music nowadays, I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you come up with an idea that really works with the
Hmm.
music, that will
Hmm.
enhance the music.
Hmm.
I mean, I've done some videos that were real crap, but once I started working with Drain Hope,
Hmm.
guy who's producing the videos that we do nowadays, he's got some cutting edge, he's got some wild ideas. I
Yeah.
mean, the video for That's Not Me sounds like something out of Monty Python,
Hmm.
you know,
Those guys
and
were great.
absolute mad. Yes.
The bunny rabbit that yeah, is the
I
best.
yeah, well, I just love this the scene in Monty Python in Hollywood when he comes out with albatross, albatross. Nobody understands what it means by it. Just fucking albatross.
Those guys are crazy, man. It's unbelievable what they've accomplished. So, well, your final track, the title track,
Yes.
is a beautiful and touching piece of music. It really is.
Yeah, I agree.
I got to say, it's got to be the best track on the album, in my opinion. Just well done.
I tend to agree with you but I
Yeah.
guess that has to do with that you're getting drawn in emotionally.
Hmm.
I've heard people saying that, oh, I shed a tear hearing that song
Yes.
because, and I always a strong believer if you can touch somebody's heart with your music, that's got to be a strong moment. It's got to be a strong song in order
Hmm.
to do that. And so many people can, I guess, can relate at least to losing at least one parent. Most of
Hmm.
us in our age group has lost at least one parent. I lost both now. I don't know whether your parents are still. No, your dad died. Is
They're
your
both
mom still?
gone. They're both gone. But
They're both.
my mom was 92,
Wow.
so
My grandma was 92, and she and my granddad raised me first 10 years. So she was like a mother to me.
hmm.
My own mother was only 19 when she had me, and I sort of perceived her more like an older sister.
Right.
It wasn't really a mom.
Mm.
Very strange relationship with my parents, let me tell you.
My my grandmother lived with us since I was a little kid. She came from Cuba and left in 1959 when Fidel came and left with just clothes on her back. And she was a gynecologist in Cuba.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so she lived
she
with us
left
for
the
a
same
long
year you
time.
were born. She
Same
left.
year. Yeah,
Wow.
59 when that's when Fidel took over.
So so you're like one-fourth Cuban.
I'm half Cuban. My mom was born in Cuba.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother was born in Spain,
Uh-huh.
and my dad was born in Brooklyn, New York.
No, New York. New
New
York.
York, Brooklyn, New
New York.
York.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
No,
an interesting.
I was born in West Covina, California.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I know it,
You're
but
so international. I don't picture you born in California.
I'm an Orange County kid, and
Isn't that something?
but I came to Sweden as an infant. I was only 5 months when I came to Sweden with my parents, and they decided
Right.
to live here instead. But it
Yeah.
didn't work out. So my dad went back to America like the year after, and 2 years.
Yes.
I can't even remember. I was too young.
Hmm.
But so that ended the marriage, and so my mom moved in with her parents, my grandparents, and they had a huge apartment in Malmo, South Sweden. So I was raised by my grandparents while my
Hmm.
mother went over to Copenhagen to study because she was so young. She was like 21. So they gave her a break. They took care of her kids while she was studying, and it
Hmm.
all worked out in the end.
Sweden's had some great musicians, man. I've interviewed a lot of prog guys from Sweden. You
There's
know.
a Yeah, there's a lot of music going on in Sweden.
Yeah.
Some very successful acts have come out of this country, like ABBA, Roxette,
Yep.
and the Hives. I mean, the list is endless.
It's amazing,
Europe,
isn't it? Yeah.
Europe, Europe is from here, not too far from where I live. It's just, top of my head, I can't come up with all the bands,
Hmm.
the people from this country, but there's a lot of great musicians. But I
Yeah,
hardly know any of them because I'm based in the UK when it comes to work.
that's right. Huh. I've had Roy Stolt on
Yeah,
the show. Yeah. Good
it's a
guy.
very dear friend of mine.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him a lot. Talk about your bonus track, Unkillable.
Well,
What you
I read a review of my album. It's like they got it all so wrong. It's just I was
Oh
just lost.
gosh.
Oh, they didn't like the album. They thought it was my album. This album was very mediocre, and I thought, okay, they didn't get it at all. Said, oh yeah, the track "Unkillable" sets the tone for the whole album.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, it's actually a bonus track it's not even on the vinyl.
Right. It's a good song though.
It's a fun track.
Yeah.
it didn't really belong. It's not proggy at all, you know. It's just more like almost like a, I don't know, country western kind of a flirt with funk.
Hmm.
But it's an anti-war song. It was just a song that came up with, and I liked the song itself, and I thought, well, I don't want to scrap it, but let's put it out there for fun. It's just for
Hmm.
fun and games. So it ends. And it's kind of a happy song as well, an anti-war song actually. So it ends the whole album. If you're a bit miserable listening to the title track Monumentata, you'll end listening to the album with a smile on your face. Let's put
Right.
it.
Yeah.
That's the intention. Just get
Sure.
back to the happiness again.
I love it. It's a great song. Like I said, I'm going to give this album a 5 stars because it's so good. It's well done.
Mhm.
Uh, it shows another side of you,
It does.
which I love. I hope you make more albums like this and continue
I
to.
won't. I won't. I'm
No.
a totally different album again.
Oh man. I noticed you have Joe Denon's plays on this album, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
friends with Joe. I love Joe. He's such a cool
A
guy.
super sweet guy.
Yep.
Too, and he's going to be in the video as well
Oh, good.
because he plays on "I'm Stepping Out" that video.
Yeah. He's a hell of a violin player, man, and a
Oh,
guitar
God.
player. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a great musician, and but
Hmm.
also he's so humble, so
Yes,
sweet. And he's,
he is.
I was initially I asked Jean-Luc Ponty
Hmm.
if he could track a violin solo, but he didn't have time, and then he recommended some violin players, and I think Joe was one of them. I'm not sure now, but anyhow, I got in touch with Joe,
Hmm.
and I thought he was has a really good resume, you know, and I thought, why not try him? And he just, oh, I love this song. Yeah, I want to play on it, you know. So it happened very fast.
Yeah.
That recorded for me. He threw in some other bits as well, but I couldn't use those because the music got too busy.
Hmm.
I wanted to keep the air flow, you know. I was very very keen on keeping a lot of air in the songs, you know.
Right. Right.
Not if they get busy, it can get busy for a little while. And actually, during the violin solo, that's the busiest part of the whole song. Got backing vocals. I got all kinds of things going on, but it works only to sort of a big release from that and just lots of air again
Yeah.
before the final chorus.
I was so excited when he was asked to join Kansas. I used to cover him when he was, and he still got the band Stratusfurious, but way before Kansas, I knew Joe. But yeah, and Kansas is going through so many changes. You
They
know,
have, they have.
there's not
I
going to be
mean,
anybody left. From
well,
your
I
band.
mean, Randy Steinhardt passed away. We know that,
Yeah, yep.
and then of course,
Phil's had some health issues.
yeah, and then of course also we have the key writer of the band. I know the name is just temporarily gone. The guy who wrote most of the songs back in the day, he left.
Hmm.
So
He
there's a lot
comes
of
back
people.
once in a while, just to.
Okay,
Yeah, but he's not in the band anymore. You're right.
isn't his name is Livgren? So what
Yeah,
was
Carrie Lindgren.
that's his name?
Yeah.
A very very important writer for the band.
Hmm.
I love the early Cancer stuff. I love the
Me too.
point of no return and all that stuff from the late 70s.
They came out when I was in high school, and it blew us all away because here are these guys with overalls from Kansas playing prog music.
My
Very
favorite,
sophisticated music.
yeah, but one of my favorite tracks is actually the song for America, but
Yeah.
there's a version with an orchestra.
Yep.
It's not the original bass player, it's a new bass player. Well, it's not new, it's been in the band for ages now, but
Yeah.
he presents the song and it's this absolutely beautiful version of that song.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Great band.
Yeah,
Excellent band.
yeah.
I This is funny because I was a big Uriah Heep fan.
Me
Da-
too.
David Byron, I loved him, man. And I did not know you used to do Uriah Heep covers.
I did.
I
50 years.
would love to hear some videos, see some video of that.
Oh, you can't. This is 50 years ago.
I know.
But yeah, we did July Morning, Easy Living, Something or Nothing from Wonderworld. What else we
Wow.
did? we might have done a couple of more tracks. I don't remember. That's so long ago. I just remember singing those. I saw Uriah Heep with David Byron and
Me
Gary
too.
Thane
Me too.
and Gary Thane in 1974 when they did the
Yep.
Wonder tour.
Yep.
And the following year in 75, there was John Wetton on
John
bass.
Wetton on bass. Yeah, that's
And
right.
had a leather suit on.
Hmm.
And you know, it looked like a biker almost. Now I saw them a few times. The last time I saw Uriah Heep with David Byron was in 76, just a couple of months before they decided to, you know, fire him.
Yeah.
And he was very drunk on stage. And I understand it. You know, how
Hmm.
can you sustain a career with a singer who's got these obvious problems? But you know, you could what I would have done? I would have just say, okay, let's take a break. Like have like
Yeah.
1 year off
Right.
and clean ourselves up and try again. But there was no time for that. And I think they were too young and too immature to realize that.
I never liked all the changes in the band. I sat down with Mick Box
Yeah,
at the House of Blues. They were playing the House of Blues. This was maybe 2 years ago, I
yeah.
guess. And we had a long talk about Bronze Records and all the changes in the band and everything. But yeah, I didn't like to see David burn out like that. You know, I was a big fan of his.
And also, I was a huge fan of Ken Hensley. So, you know, the key writer of the band.
I've had Ken on the show.
Oh,
Yeah,
have you?
I
I
have.
loved him. I got his autograph 50 years ago.
Really?
I got it, and I was just screaming. We're, you know, backstage or whatever, you know, the stage door. I said,
Mhm.
and I was like 16. Ken, please, Ken, please, please, please.
That's funny.
And I got his autograph, and I just remember. I mean, you know, he was such a pizzazz. He looked so super cool with that
Yeah,
super long hair he had
real
down to his
long hair.
ass. And you know the way he presented himself on stage, you know, his hair swirling over the mini moog, and he was just wild.
He is
I mean,
so
it was
cool. Yeah,
great fun to watch, especially for a 16-year-old. You know, because you so
that's right.
impressed. You're so impressed by your heroes,
Yeah.
and I was super impressed.
I had Lee on the show too. Lee Curtis
Holy,
Lee.
oh wow, did you?
Yeah. Yep. Lee, Ken, and David. I had David on a couple of, not David, Mick Bach,
Yeah,
a
Mick
couple of
Fox.
times. Yeah, Mick Box.
Me and Jonas went backstage with right. He played in I think Quebec City. It was
Hmm.
about 6 years ago, and we played there the day after, the same venue.
Oh, wow.
And so we were invited, and we got backstage, and we met Mick.
He's cool.
Happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah. Always
Really,
remember him playing Gypsy, you know?
yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Um, that track. Oh my goodness,
Yeah. Yeah, we grew up with the same music, me and you.
we did. And
Yeah,
you must have liked it. I mean, you also like Deep Purple, I guess.
of course.
But my favorite era is actually one with Coverdale and Glenn Hughes.
Hmm.
I just the Burn album,
The Burn album, yeah.
and I just heard a new song.
California Jam.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah.
heard a song from Glenn Hughes,
Hmm.
uh, a brand new song. It's brilliant songwriting, and he's singing better than ever. You know, he's
Hmm.
one of the best singers ever out there.
Are you friends with Glenn? Because I know he's gets
No,
around a lot.
have you met him?
No, I haven't met Glenn. Nope.
No,
I had Ian Gillan on the show.
right.
Yeah.
No, well, you know, I'm very honored that you know, decided to have me on because interviewing the legends. I'm no legend.
Oh, yes, you are. You're
No,
incredible and you're incredible in concert. You know, you're one of
well,
my favorite singers.
you're very kind, but to me, a legend is like Paul McCartney. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
those old timers that I'm yet to reach that status. But you know, it's very flattering that you that you consider me a legend. What can I say? Maybe
We got to keep the genre alive. You know, prog, rock,
yeah,
R&B, you know. So I do everything I can to, you know, get
yeah.
everybody in the limelight as much as I can, you know.
So you said you're in Florida, right?
I'm in Florida. Yeah.
So you know that we'll be in Florida next year.
at what, Ruth Eckerd Hall or the Capitol
I
Theater,
think so. I'm not sure yet. Or is it this year? I'm getting confused now.
right?
But we'll be back in Florida. Oh no, I
Yeah.
know. The shows has they haven't been set yet. I just know
Okay.
we're gonna do the cruise to the edge again,
That's
and
fun. That's got to
and
be fun.
I think there's gonna be some shows in Florida just prior to.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the band comes to Ruth Eckerd Hall a lot, Clearwater, Florida.
We played there once at Ruth Hackett
Yeah.
Hall.
Right. Right. That's a good venue.
Very nice venue.
Yeah. That's about an hour for me. I'm an hour south
So where are you
from
on
there.
you're on the west coast?
Yes. I'm in Bradenton, the Bradenton area. Consider Tampa Bay, I guess.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah. It's nice here. We got a lot of Brits that live here.
A lot of Brits.
Yeah. Lots of
Okay,
Brits. Yeah.
no Swedes.
A few.
Huh. Okay, I might become your neighbor then.
Good. Good.
Well,
Good. Yeah, but you live out in the forest. You
or
know.
I live in the spinach. No,
Spinach.
no, I enjoy living here. I don't know whether you can see. Do you see the treetops behind me?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
beautiful.
okay. That's the forest. Okay,
That's the forest.
yeah.
That's cool.
So no, I'm happy out here. Believe me, I'm super happy out here.
Yeah, you seem chilled,
But I need
which is
to,
good.
after since I'm touring so much, long stretches.
You got a big tour coming up.
I know 7 weeks in the US in the autumn, but
Wow.
I know it's crazy. But so you can imagine coming home after a long, long, hectic tour.
I can't
You,
imagine.
you come out here just to rewind
Mm.
or unwind. Sorry, unwind. Uh, that's it's heaven. I couldn't live in the city. I just need this bit of fresh air and just slow pace.
I live
That's,
near the beach, so I'm like you, you know.
yeah, we have
The,
a
o-
private little beach down here. I live by a lake.
the only problem, we had our first direct hurricane last year. It hit
I
us
heard
dead
about it.
on. It was bad.
I
Yeah.
know, really bad.
And now we're in hurricane season again. I'm not looking forward to that. I didn't have power for like 2 weeks,
That's
you know.
horrendous.
That's boring.
Super boring. I hope you had a pile of books.
Books is all you can do,
Yeah,
under candlelight. That's about
can't
it.
find books and
Like the old days.
and a scotch.
Yes.
Oh,
Many.
I I like my scotch.
Yeah. I want to mention, I think the tour starts, if I got this right, July 2nd in Japan. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
Osaka. So
that's
you're going to
right.
be in Japan for almost a week. You'll be in Italy. Man, oh man, a lot of dates in Italy. Then you come to New York, I think October 4th.
I think we start out in Ithaca,
Ithaca,
in the
yeah. Ithaca, New
state,
York, right.
yeah, state of New York,
You'll
and
be in
I know,
Canada after that.
yeah. Well,
Boy,
it's
that's
gonna.
a long tour, man.
I know.
You're going to be in my old stomping grounds, October 26th at the Warner Theater in DC. I'm originally from that area, and I
But
know the Warner Theater very well,
you
really
know what? We
well.
played the Warner Theater so many times. I even remember what rug there's in my dressing room. I, I even remember, how it's furnished and everything.
Yeah,
Well, and I know exactly how to go to the catering, and it's downstairs. Like, you know,
it's an
it, it,
old theater, man.
it's a very old theater.
Yeah, I saw Supertramp there.
Hmm.
Um, who else did I see at the Winter Theater? Oh my gosh, saw a lot of bands. I saw the Tubes at the Winter Theater. Remember them?
I love the two. I love those early mid 70s albums by the
Yeah,
Tubes.
White
And
Punks on Dope.
White Punks on Dope. Or what about Don't Touch Me There?
Don't touch me there. Yeah, yeah. I had him on the show, Fee. I had Fee on the show, and I had the drummer from the Tubes.
All right. Do you know that Fee was actually had a solo career
Hmm.
with he was signed to a Swedish label for a while in the 90s, I believe. And it was a friend of mine who had that label.
Oh, cool.
I can't
Huh.
remember the name of the label. It's so long ago now. Yeah. Oh, West Coast Records.
That
That
was a friend of yours. I don't had that record label.
does that ring a bell? West Coast Records.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that was Håkan Häggblom, who had that label. He was the CEO for it.
Hmm.
Old friend of mine from the 80s.
You know, the Rolling Stones played the Warner Theater. It was a quiet. They wanted to play in a small venue. It was
Mhm.
very, very hush hush. They played there.
When?
Gosh, this must have been 70s, I guess.
Okay. Well, there you
Late
go.
70s. Yeah. Or
But I
it could have
must
been the 80s.
but I must say, we coming out, Hackett band coming out with a new release from live from the Royal Albert Hall.
Right.
Will come out in July. And no matter where I've been in the world, very hard to top the Albert Hall. It's
Hmm.
just that's monumental, if
Hmm.
anything. It's so classic. All the big bands play there. There are live recordings with Led Zeppelin and all kinds of Jimi Hendrix. I mean, they've all been there.
Hmm.
It's such an honor to stand on that stage.
Yeah.
It's incredible, really.
I can't imagine, man.
And I've done it twice.
Mm. What's the
Mhm.
biggest crowd you guys performed to? Do you remember?
25,000.
That's good.
Uh, but it's a crop ready festival in
Hmm.
in England. The band FEP mentioned they
Yep.
put out this festival every
Peggy,
year.
Peggy. I had Peggy on the show too.
Oh, okay. No, so they have this festival. So we just one act out of many. So
Yeah.
the 25,000 weren't all there for us, but still it's a huge crowd,
Yeah.
amazing crowd, and yeah, that's the biggest crowd I ever sang for.
You guys sell out everywhere you go. I mean,
More or less, more or
yeah.
less. There might be
Yeah.
the odd seat, empty seat, but in
Yeah.
general, if I mean, towards the end of the show, when people sort of stand up and cheer and all that,
Hmm.
it looks pretty crowded to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Es- Especially in Italy, for some reason, they go mad for Steve Hackett.
Hmm.
You
First
know,
time I interviewed Steve, I interviewed him and Chris Squire, when they did Squawk It,
yeah,
which was a
yeah.
good album. Yeah.
That that's one of my fondest memories of Steve. Actually, when I first met him,
Hmm.
I flew over to London in 2012 because he invited me over to check me out. If
Right.
I it, he already decided he probably wanted me in the band, but he still wanted to find out what kind of character I was, and we just hit it off.
Hmm.
And the one thing he did, that's so kind of him. So he wanted to give me the Squack It album.
Hmm.
So we drove by his studio, and he went in there and picked an album and gave it to me. You know, what a guy! I mean,
Yeah.
he really cares. So,
He
uh,
does.
I mean, you must know that this whole thing with Steve Hackett and all the band members has been around for forever, and some of the tour, the entourage and the crew that we have,
Hmm.
some have been with him for 25, 30 years, and that because the whole thing around him is based on loyalty. You
Right.
know, we
Right.
have no we have no contracts. We
Huh.
just want we just look out for him. We just want the best for him because one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
Yeah. Joe's
He,
nice too, his wife.
oh yeah, super
She's
sweet.
she's so cool.
She's
Yeah.
super. They really are sweet people,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy that still get to work with them. I'm still wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In my opinion, he's one of the top 10 guitarists of all time. He's had, I mean, the intricate pieces that he's played on.
yeah, no, I know.
For me, I lost Jen after the Wind and Wuthering. That was it for me.
Well, the thing is, he's got his signature guitar style. Signature guitar.
Exactly. Yeah.
People copy him. Has
Yep.
copied him, and I don't think he quite realizes how good he is. I don't think he doesn't think that way.
Hmm.
Because he that's his vocabulary. It's just playing the guitar, really.
Yeah.
And oh, boy, can he play guitar?
He's incredible.
No, yeah, he is brilliant, brilliant guitarist. So I'm in a good place in my life, as you can imagine.
Good. Good, good, good.
And in
But you got a
between
big
all,
tour coming out.
yeah, I was in between all these big tours that we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get a chance to write some more music
Good. You're
for
you're a great songwriter, Nad. You really
thank,
are.
thank you.
Yeah. Here's your
All right.
last question. I've
Oh,
asked you this before, and I ask everybody the same question, but I get interesting answers. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Dead or alive, doesn't matter.
Yeah, dead or alive. Could be Beethoven.
Oh, that I understand. People must be sort of they have to think for a while, right? Because it just
They
you just
always do.
you scan through all your influences, all the people that you know.
Yeah.
Uh, for some reason, I must say Phil Collins because
Really?
no,
Interesting.
I always adored him,
Yeah.
uh, and had a huge his singing style had a huge influence on me when I was young. But I dreamt of him many times when I was young, and in my
Hmm.
20s. You know, I would dream that I was working with him or doing something with him. So I just, you know, he's such a natural musician
Hmm.
and also a super sweet man.
Hmm.
Uh, at the top of my head, I would love to work with him, or let's say David Bowie too. I mean, Bowie was
Bowie
also.
would be incredible. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there's so many of them out there. You know, the Joni Mitchell, for
Hmm.
Christ's sake. You know, Joni is one of my absolute biggest heroines ever.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you know, we better stop here because I'll start name drop.
You can create a band if you want.
Well, maybe we could. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's just so many of them.
I had Phil's son on the show.
The Nick,
was it Simon? Yeah, I think. But
Simon Cole is his
yeah,
older son.
yeah, he was a nice guy. He's an excellent musician and songwriter as well. And I met Phil at a record store, 1979 in Fort Lauderdale at Peaches record store. Genesis was signing,
Hmm.
and the whole band was there. As a matter of fact, I got the album hanging up on my wall, Trick of the Tail, and he signed it. Chester was there. Chester was in the band at the time, I think.
Hmm.
Also, Steve had left. Steve
But
Hackett left.
Chester joined in '77. That's
Right.
when he joined because
Yeah.
I saw the Wind and Wuthering tour with Genesis. I mean, I saw them in Stockholm in 1977, actually on my 18th birthday.
Hmm.
I know it was June the 4th. And I even recorded it for my little my
Did you
little
really?
cassette. Yeah, I did. I still have the tape somewhere. I don't know where, but I still have it. I haven't thrown it away. It's just somewhere in, you know, somewhere deep down in my closet somewhere.
Yeah, this has got to be a dream come true, though. Here you grew up with Genesis.
Hmm.
You're a big fan, and now you're part of the band.
Well, the
It's
great,
a,
not Genesis per se, but I know what you
close,
mean. Uh,
how
well,
close can you be?
right, no, but also that you know the gateway to Genesis music was the Lamb Lies Down Broadway. That's how it
Hmm.
started for me
Right.
50 years ago. I played that album to death that summer, '75. So to be standing on stage with Steve Hackett from Genesis and singing the songs that got me into the band, it's
It's a
once
dream
again
come true.
quite monumental. Again,
Yeah.
monumental is a very useful word.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Incredible.
No, it's an incredible situation to be in.
Yeah.
For Genesis, not like myself.
Well, I hope to see you in Clearwater if that's the venue that you guys are coming to. I will definitely come see that.
Yeah.
I never got to see Genesis in concert all these years, you know?
Oh, I saw them a few times,
Yeah,
5, 6 times. I think I've seen them.
yeah. Very, very cool band.
Yeah.
I still love the Trick of the Tail. That's my favorite because I like Entangled.
Hmm.
Uh,
No,
it's
it's a very very good record. I mean, what
funk.
they put out,
Yeah,
everything they put out in the '70s
right.
Up until Duke, I lost interest after Duke.
After Duke, yeah.
There was some songs I thought was really really strong on Duke,
Hmm.
but then Abacab, no, not for me. It was a few tracks, but you know, overall, no. Uh, the magic to me was for me was gone. I was
Yeah.
very young though. I was 22 when Abacab came out, you know,
Hmm.
but I already had my mindset on what I liked about the band.
Steve told me that Trick of the Tail had a kind of a Disney theme in their mind, whimsical, kind of a whimsical feel to it. And we were discussing Entangled, which is about, a psychiatrist being in a psychiatrist's office, But I
Yeah.
associated with being in the hospital and, having surgery and all that because I think I was in the hospital at the time or whatever. So we were kind of, no, it's about a psychiatrist. It's like psychiatrist couch and this and that. I was like, yeah, but it could be if you're in the hospital and, you go into anesthesia and we were going back and forth. It's kind of funny.
You know, well, you could both be right. I mean, the
Yeah,
psychiatrist could actually be in the hospital.
true. There you go. Thank you. That was
I see.
monumental.
Very monumental.
Very monumental. That's the song of the word of the day.
Yes, it is.
Very good. Ned,
Okay.
I want to thank you so much, man, for being on the show.
It
It's
was my
so funny that you were eating your dinner again when we talked.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen previous, I was eating throughout the whole interview.
Yes, the first
Uh,
time we met.
and now, because the internet was down here for a couple of hours. I don't know
Right.
what with it, and even though I've got fiber now and it's really fast, it was gone.
Yeah.
And I had an interview like an hour before yours. And I logged on like 20 minutes too late. And so everything was postponed here for me.
Right.
I was getting so damn hungry, so I need dinner. And what do you know? Same guy who
It's
interviewed me while
so
I had
funny.
lost.
It is so
It was
funny.
so viewers. So I know this might just be an audio, or is it no, it's
No, no, this is video. Yeah.
I look terrible.
No, you don't. You look
My
good. That's
hair
what
or my hair is horrible.
Steve said the same thing to me. He just came from a show. The last time we did an interview, he says, I must look horrible. I look bad. I look, Steve, you look fine, man. Don't worry
But
about it.
the thing is, I'm past my vanity years. I really don't care that much anymore.
Yeah, but on
I'm
stage
I'm
you do.
I'm more into health.
You really get into it on stage, man. You're a
What,
presence.
what that's different.
Yeah.
Now I look like an old lady.
No,
So
you don't. Come on.
I can take
Hey,
off the glasses for just a
hey,
little
we're
bit.
the same age, so don't say that. That's funny. You're doing your best Monty Python thing.
I am.
I do want to say special thanks to Roy Avon of Royal Avenue Media for arranging this interview today with Nad. I
Yes.
think when me and Steve talk, I think Joe arranges it. Usually she does all the business end of stuff.
I
So,
don't I don't think Steve is that much into the business part
right.
of
I don't blame him.
He's
Yeah.
more into the more, artistically
Yeah.
creative stuff. That's what he does.
I don't blame him. You can
Oh,
purchase the new album by Nad Sylvan entitled Monumentata. It's set to be officially released June 20th. You can order it now. You can do a pre-order right now.
well,
Uh,
you sound Italian when you say it's monumentata. You should sound more camp.
Monumentata.
More camp. Monumentata, darling.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
And
That
for
that
more information about Nad Sylvan, he's got Facebook, he's got his official website, Instagram, he's on YouTube, Twitter, Reverb Nation, and Inside Out Music.
I'm everywhere.
You are everywhere. Nad, have a great time on the tour. Don't burn
This-
out.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll continue packing CDs. I just finished all the vinyls. I'm gonna go to the post office tomorrow. A shitload of vinyls that I just packed. It was immense work, but I took 2 days.
hmm
So now I'm going to do at least 50 CDs. It's going to go fast.
Oh, I'd like to send you my new book. It's called The Liberty Code. It's a kind of a sci-fi thriller.
Uh-huh.
It was released June 1st, but the postage going to Sweden, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's more than the book.
I know. Forget about it. Give it to me.
But
Give it to me when I see you. And
if I see you in Clearwater, I'll hand it to you.
okay,
Okay.
that sounds good.
I'll give you my other book too, The Rockstar Chronicles. You'll love that one.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Am I in there? I hope so. I better.
This is series 1, so
Mhm.
you'll be in series 2. How's that?
That sounds promising. Don't forget about me. That's because that's monumental.
That's right. It's monumental. Everything is monumental. Remember that.
That's true.
Thank you,
Okay.
Nad. I appreciate it, man.
Uh-huh. Take care now.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The path is clear.